everybody. Welcome to Stories of the Salt Knights, a live-action D&D podcast that a bunch of nerds do. Hi, all my nerds.
Hi, Nerd Daddy.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, my nerd family.
Or should I say Natty?
No.
I'm okay with that.
Natty Daddy.
Natty Daddy. How's everybody doing?
So good.
Phenomenal.
Excellent.
I'm working.
James is fixing my computer.
Oh no, I didn't know your computer was actually dead.
He's doing an IT.
It's trying to be dead.
Make sure you submit a ticket when you're done.
I'll get reimbursed.
No, you submit a ticket before you start.
But
James,
well,
when you said that you needed more time, I thought you were joking.
I didn't know I was going to do this. I was actually joking at first.
Okay. Well, we got a little bit of
turn it on and off again.
Introduction to do before we get into it. And honestly, you probably won't need your... I don't know. You're not going to need your laptop for like...
Behind the scenes repairs.
Anyways, no, but yeah, let me know when you get it back up and running. A couple of things that I don't think I announced on the last episode. First and foremost, we have a new kind of way we're going to be doing the show. So we're going to do 1.5-hour sessions per episode, 1.5-hour episode. And then behind the scenes, we film 2 sessions. We'll be filming 2 sessions in a night. So between like 2 sessions of the same night, we'll be wearing the same clothes and all that. Anyways, that doesn't matter.
So don't judge me.
Don't judge us for wearing the same clothes twice in a row. Other announcements I wanted to say.
You love us?
No.
And nothing you said online has anything to do with the game tonight?
No.
Oh, good.
Very good.
You'll see. I did want to say, just in case if anyone wants to be able to see these for each episode, I'm going to be doing trigger warnings in the description of the episode, just in case anyone out there wants to be able to see those before watching the episode. If you don't want things to be spoiled, maybe don't look at the trigger warnings. But anyways, I just felt like that's a good thing to post out there for people who would like that.
That's some stressful foreshadowing.
What?
That's some stressful foreshadowing right there. So I can't think of anything last episode that needed a trigger warning.
Nope.
hold on. My character turned vegan at the last campaign, so I think there were a good amount of trigger warnings that could have been said.
It's just the standard I want to put on episodes now, just in case. Really quick, thanks to Randy and Beast Recordings for doing all of this for us, for being the mastermind behind the audio and video recording.
Uncle Danny for donuts.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Danny for donuts. We're Danny for donuts.
That's some big brain moves right there.
Who the hell is Uncle Danny?
My Uncle Danny.
Oh, your actual Uncle
Oh,
Danny.
nice.
Oh,
Those
he made those?
handmade?
He gets them every Tuesday and just drops them off at the house. So I bring
Oh,
them.
okay.
Oh.
I thought it was like a
So
place.
we get
but-
chocolate donuts every Tuesday now?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Can you tell Uncle Danny to get some regular glazed donuts?
Yeah.
No,
I
I'm
did
sorry.
not want to ask, but I agree.
I'm sorry.
I'd
I
like some
especially
regular-
request those.
Beggars
Dang it.
cannot be choosers.
Just
No,
so
I
you're
think
aware,
Put in a
glazed donuts make me feel very nice, and not
We're
like
back.
I have to put some crazy monsters in front of you. Okay, one thing I wanted to bring up before we actually start the episode, I had this idea, want to run it by the table for a homebrew. I don't really like using inspiration as like the DM gives people inspiration, because I think it's like it rewards people for weird things and stuff. I had this idea of the players giving each other inspiration. So my idea was, so if you roll a nat 20, I will give you an opportunity to describe that nat 20, kind of like a how do you want to do it kind of thing, just to give you like a chance to throw some flavor onto it. And then at that point, whoever rolled the nat 20, gets to give someone else at the table inspiration for that nat 20. So, and then you can only, the stipulations are, you can only give someone a nat 20 once, because I know Randy's probably going to be rolling out the nat 20. He's a nat 20 machine. You're literally rolling 10 times in a turn. You're gonna get a lot of nat 20s. So you can only give someone inspiration once, and you can only get inspiration once per game. And then if you don't use it, you lose it. Does that sound cool?
I don't know.
So
I think about that.
any nat 20, you can give inspiration to another player?
So
Yeah,
like on
any
an
nat
attack
20.
roll.
Attack roll, or if you're rolling
Like a check or
like
something?
a check or something, a save or something, or like
So we just get to say how
That'd be
cool
really hard.
our role was so cool, it inspired this other character.
yeah.
Right on an attack.
I like this.
So,
Yeah.
so if I get that inspiration, does it just become a D20 that I can use and not just inspiration?
What do you
Like that
mean?
it's normally used as.
It's
in the
just like the normal
traditional
it's just a
sense.
normal inspiration, so you get advantage on a roll.
Can we make it more spicy and just turn it into like a 20 that I could use or that anyone could use at any point in time?
No, I'm not gonna give you that. Get out of here.
Spicy.
Good effort.
Never hurts to
So
ask.
you're asking. Oh shoot! Forgot to start my time. You're asking if it's just an automatic nat 20. I don't think so. Yeah. I'm not insane.
You're not insane, I agree.
Quiet, you. Okay, let's get in to the game.
I think it's funny because the way the formatting is
That's
set up
exactly
on the
what-
screen, anytime I point at you, but when you're watching it, you're over here, so I'm like pointing at nobody.
Right.
It's like this
Oh
guy
yeah,
over here.
yeah. You would be pointing off to the other side of the screen.
This guy looks over there. I'm all looking this way, like, what's Jeff doing over there? Looking off in the
Okay. Starting recap of the last game. Some of you guys, we did a little bit of how. Let me open up my notes for people. Astrid and Delvain, we. Oh yes.
At any point in time in these intros, do you ever like actually name the campaign? Like say the name of it? I don't think we've ever actually said the name of it.
No, I never really have because I'm just more. I think the name of the campaign is less important than the campaign.
Okay,
being
I was just
cool.
curious.
This campaign is called Into the Rot, though.
It's all about Jeff.
All about Jeff's rotten attitude.
Correct. Especially if I'm hungry.
Okay, let's see. Into recap. So Astrid and Delvain, we did a little bit of intro for you two meeting up and kind of coming to terms of a work agreement arrangement kind of a thing. He works for you. And
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Employed, fired, and rehired, almost in the same sentence.
Yes.
And is it Zeid or Zeid?
Oh god. I think it's Zeid.
Zeid. Okay. Zeid, you were tending your flock when one of these magistrate guards came up and handed you this letter that said that you've been chosen to for a special task. Should you accept, please meet here. And it gave you guys a token to like stock up on goods before and all that stuff. You all met at a crossroads in a on the east side of you was these woods, and on the west side of you was this field. And as you guys made camp, you were attacked by these strange two-headed wolves that had like their skin falling off and drooling black sludge, and these vines that like came out and like stitched them together as you fought them. After a little bit of a scuffle, you guys dispatched those creatures and went back to sleep. And upon waking up in the morning, everyone gets a long rest, by the way, if you haven't already.
I feel better.
Upon waking up in the morning, you see a figure standing at the crossroads. As you look over, this figure kind of waves at you. It is a man that you can see.
I see a man.
And he he waves at you, and he like beckons for people to come to him. And that's where we start the game. Let me find my notes where we are right now. Anyone have anything they want to do in the morning for
Dawn armor.
dawn armor?
Pray.
Pray.
Ew!
I'll never get you.
You're like, I'll drop my shit, go, God!
God. Okay, do you guys go over to meet this person standing in the crossroads?
Is he heavily armored? What's he dressed in?
With your elf eyes, you see roughly around 6 foot tall.
Oh.
He has brown, like this brown loose fit, like monk clothing. There's a golden orange sash wrapped around his waist, and he's got this like cream colored cape. And he's also standing there with this black and white birch staff.
And how far away is he?
He's probably 30 to 40 feet away from you.
okay.
You guys made set up camp like probably 20, 30 feet into the field, and he's off at the crossroad. He's like standing in the crossroads waiting for you guys. Okay.
Well, I am going to stand up and start swaggering over with my enormous weapon hoisted over my shoulder and approach him.
Okay.
I follow.
Hey, wait for me! And I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna jump, and I'm gonna climb up the very large fighter lady and sit on her shoulder plate.
I am heavily armed.
Do you want me to stand like arms out, arms in, flail out?
Just, look cool.
one arm back. I'm just like looking cool.
Professionally cool, man. Come on. Sure, that's fine.
That's fine.
As you approach this person, let's see.
Have you ever heard the office siren? Be more like that.
Does anyone here a follower or specifically get their like powers from Acela? Divine powers.
Were we supposed to
I think you're the only one that has like divine power.
That's Ayu.
Oh, Ayun. Okay, Ayuna.
Euna.
Ayuna. Okay. If anyone wants to roll a history check, I'll let you roll a history check on this person.
Faith needs no history.
Okay then.
already?
25.
25.
21.
21. Anyone else rolling for shits and giggles? No? Okay, the two of you, Gary and Astrid. Gary, you specifically are a very well-learned person. And Astrid, you've been around a lot. You guys recognize this person as Delaron. He is the direct assistant to Agorum, who is the magistrate of Acela. So this is kind of like Acela's Pope's assistant, so to speak. Go back to my notes. As you guys walk up, you can kind of see that he has. Where was that? He's a young human, and he's got like brown hair. He's probably in his like 30s or so, and he's just got like soft, well-kept skin, and he has this like really relaxed demeanor about him. And as you guys approach, he waits for everyone to approach and like get into range of him. Is everyone approaching normally? No one's holding back or anything? Cat?
Professionally.
As we walk that direction, are the bodies of the wolves still around, or are they like groupified? Or
Didn't they like?
So, yeah, if you like take a little bit of a detour to go look at one, they almost look like they have mummified. Like the skin has like dried out drastically and like pulled up over the teeth and like is starting to like shrink on the bones and stuff like that. Yeah, the vines that were there have almost dried and turned like so brittle that they've almost turned into dust. But yeah, like they've almost just mummified right then and there. Like between the time you killing them and now. But the remains are still there. You assume that they will rot like normal in the spring and summer months to come. As you guys make your way up to Delvain, sorry, I'm just reading my notes really quick. So Delvain waits for everyone to approach and gather around him, and you can kind of see him like look over you and says, thanks for coming. I am the one that was sent to gather you all and take you to our meeting place to discuss the terms of this this agreement. Only 6 of you?
Aye.
Should
there be more?
supposed to be more?
I was told there'd be 7, but no matter, there's no time to wait for any stragglers at this point. The first thing I need to do is have you all sign contracts right here and now. And he produces out of his robes, he kind of produces this scroll case, and as he opens it, he pulls out a scroll, and he says, this is basically a magically enchanted non-disclosure agreement. Should you decide to take this job, or should you not decide to take this job, you will be forced to keep any information about this job secret. If anyone is proficient in Arcana, I'll let you roll an Arcana check about this.
Is it pretty common to keep work? Just a paladin thought. Any of the work that's done around the border or outside for any of the gods, is that kind of like hush hush stuff?
As far as
No one's actively saying like, yeah, we sent this dude out into the rot for the X deity. And
so for the most
never came
part,
back.
well, so you've never heard of anyone going out to the rot.
Okay.
It's never happened.
Okay.
As far as you are aware.
Right.
Some of the stuff, being a paladin, I'd say some of the missions you've gone on have been like need to know basis, like.
But going out in the rot's like
Never. It's never happened before.
okay.
There has not been since the barriers have gone up. There has not been a single case or even rumor of someone going out into the rot. It's just not a thing. But you have gone on some missions for like the magistrate, maybe not the magistrate directly, but if you're a paladin and you work for like a church, like a local church or something like that,
Right.
you have gone out on missions that were really just need to know basis of some sort or another.
Okay.
Okay, Arcana checks, anyone?
23.
18.
18. You guys, so these are, they're not common, but you are aware of them. you're basically signing yourself into a geese that says that it's basically compelling you not to speak about anything about what you're about to embark on, or what you're about to be told about. It is it's like I said, it's not common, but you've heard about it, and it's mostly when it's like stuff that has to do with like really secretive like magic things or something like that. So he allows you guys to read. He produces one of these, and anyone who wants to read it he says is more than welcome to read through it.
I'll read it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you read through it, and you basically get the gist that although you probably have never heard of something like this, you understand that it's basically saying that you are compelled to never speak of this. You're magically compelled to never speak of this to anyone. And basically you'd have a very painful and probably you would probably die by the end of it if you tried to tell someone anything about what is pertaining to this contract. He produces 5 more out of the same scroll case, and he produces a quill for you guys to sign. Does everyone sign it if you have any questions or anything for him? Or?
Question. Can we talk about this amongst the individuals who were on assignment with us?
Yes. Yeah, you will be able to do that.
Perfect.
Everyone who is the creators of these scrolls and everyone who has signed one will all be kind of together in the same thing. So, of course, you can talk to each other about this and stuff like that. Just not in the case of if you're with anyone who is not a part of this.
I sign it.
You sign it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Delaron?
What?
Delaron?
Delaron, yes.
Delaron. Don't meet many Dells.
Okay.
Magistrate's name's on this.
Yes.
And so is mine.
You do see down at the bottom, it is signed by... Let me go to my... It is signed by Agorim and Vexius, who are 2 magistrates of the Tri-Star Magistrate.
Have I ever seen 2 signatures on like a document like this?
No. And there are 4 magistrates in total.
2 magistrates. Isn't that crazy?
Were you saying something, Chris?
I'm gonna butcher the names.
That's fine. I can also, at some point in time, send you like an email with people's names and stuff like that. But, I just didn't want to give out like too much information before we started.
Be so devout over this total contract of justice.
So he lets all of you sign these forms, and he takes a minute just to double check to make sure it's signed like correctly with your name, your full name, and stuff like that. And he then takes all of them together and rolls them all up, puts them into the scroll case, and puts that almost seemingly like once he puts it into his like his cloak, it almost just like disappears from his body. You can't like see it on his person anymore.
Does he have a bra?
Ooh.
It's possible.
So he says it is going to be a couple days walk through the forest. I will make sure that I'm going to cast a spell on us that makes it so we don't get seen by creatures or attract attention from any of the forest creatures or anything like that. So he takes out a little pack and pulls out this twine, and he starts to wrap it around his staff. And he takes the twine in his staff and he yanks on it, and the twine bursts into vines that like crawl up the staff, and as he does that, this bubble of shimmering green light just like kind of around you guys, and it kind of like shimmers and fades out. He says, okay, this way then. And he turns around and he starts heading. So there is a path, the dirt road. There's a path north, a path south, and a path pretty much directly east. And he starts heading roughly like northeast, just straight into uncut woods, directly off path. You guys find yourself walking for, he said it would be a couple of days walk through the woods. It's a really nice, beautiful day outside. You can see the light shining through the canopy. Leaves gleam like polished emeralds, and he leads you through patches of birch, pine wood, grassy meadows that are peppered with late spring flowers. At a certain point, you pass by a deer who doesn't know you're there, and you know that if this were normal, this deer would have heard you coming a long time ago. And you can kind of just see the fine detail of this deer, its coarse hair and its small velvet-covered nodules on its head, where antlers will probably be growing relatively soon. It's a pretty comfortable walk through the woods. These woods are known to be relatively like peaceful. There's not a lot of creatures, like bad creatures, so to speak, that traverse these woods too much. Ralnor, you would probably understand that these woods are like a relatively safe place to be. At least this close to the edge of them. Once you start getting like way deeper into the woods, that starts to become not nearly as true. At a certain point, the woods start to grow dark, and Delaron stops and he's like, "Oh, probably set up camp here. You're welcome to camp with me." Basically, have a tiny hut spell that I cast that I sleep in. You're welcome to stay in that, or you're welcome to make your own camp if you like. But anyways, yeah. And he continues to, he kind of sets up this this little ritual where he draws a circle and puts his staff in the center of it, and from that he draws a bunch of lines out about 6 or 7 feet and places a little white seed in a little hole at the end of each line. And he recants this incantation, and these seeds sprout up into this dome before the dome fills out with plant life. And as he walks up to it, the plant life kind of just moves out of his way as he walks into the dome. You guys are, and you can kind of see this like warm glow inside of the dome as he makes his way in. You guys are welcome to spend the night in there with him, or if you want to make your own camp.
I'm gonna walk in right after him.
Okay.
Sick. I'm gonna spend the night in there.
Okay. Anyone else spending the night in there?
Yes.
Same.
It's
Okay.
so nice.
You guys spend the night in there, and it smells sweet. There are these little, they're like little flowers with, these little fruits that hang from them that glow this orange color. So it's a really nice, there's this orange glow about the, do you want to do something? You pop one of them?
I want to put it in my gourd.
Your gourd? Okay, you take it and as you pop it off, you it still glows, but you can noticeably see it's like once you pop it from the vine, it noticeably dulls a little bit. But not like all the way, it's just like it's just, you can just kind of tell you've removed it from like an energy source, and it's just a little bit more dull. You put it in your gourd.
It smells sweet, right?
Yeah, it smells sweet.
Going in the gourd.
Put it in the gourd. You have a gourd with a glowing fruit in it.
Is there anything else in your gourd?
Infinite coffee.
Ah, that's right.
Oh, it's your coffee. It's your coffee gourd.
My infinite coffee gourd.
Okay.
With
Do you take a sip of it?
Yes.
Okay. As you take a sip of it, you feel really nice. It feels really good. This kind of your coffee. So you take a drink of this. How do you like your coffee?
Sugar, cream.
Black as
Sugar, cream, black,
Sugar, cream, a little bit of cinnamon, some nutmeg if we have it.
nutmeg. Okay.
Whipped cream
I'd say
or
you probably have most of this. There is this.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden there is this like slight. Your coffee seems to already be like kind of creamy, and now there's this little like citrusy twist to it, almost like someone made like a the orange creamsicle in a coffee flavor, almost like that.
Oh,
Yeah, it just tastes good.
I had to say a small prayer at that point.
Okay.
Thank you.
I pull out my big old pipe.
Me.
It's about 6 inches long, and I pull out a wick, and
Okay.
smoke starts coming out of it. I'm just staring at the guy.
As you start to smoke it, those who are perhaps a little bit more perceptive, as Ralnor puffs out the smoke, you can kind of see the vines creating this dome split and vent into like a type of like vent type of thing, and the smoke kind of just flows freely from it, so it doesn't like smoke up the whole area.
And I just stare at him.
You can kind of see him as you stare at him. He is settling down. He puts his bedroll out and he gets some carvings that are of the gods. So it's actually kind of a pretty common practice for people to carry like wood or stone carvings of all the gods. I'm going to get you a pipe now. It's kind of a really common practice, but his have like little metal what's the word? What's the word? I just spaced on the word. Words.
Wants to pick a word for you? Dragon.
Runes, etchings.
Chicken.
Inlays?
Inlays, thank you, that's the word. I'm happy I could have 6 brains here to help me. His have like these little silver inlays on them that just kind of go around all the details and stuff like that. So even though it's common for people to have these, you can tell his are like a little bit nicer than most people's. But he gets some of these out and kind of sets up a little shrine and starts saying like prayers and stuff like that.
What race is he?
He's human.
I just stare at him.
Okay.
And I kind of like,
Roll a perception check really
Sorry.
quick.
Try this.
Where are your toes?
What else?
terrible.
I mean, it's not a very high. I'm just curious what you
6.
6? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. You just stare at him. Do you say something to him?
This is-
Trying to figure out your angle.
Tell me to-
He takes a moment
I'm not sleeping.
to respond to you, like he's getting through the rest of the sentence of his prayer, and he like puts his hands back down and he looks up to you and he says, "What do you mean?"
We've signed the contracts. But you've told us nothing.
It is not my place to tell you what your job may be.
But you obviously know what's happening.
I do, but also I am not a magistrate. This is something for the magistrate to discuss with you. No.
Oh, your middle magistrate got it.
I I am a direct
good.
assistant to the magistrate, yes. I usually run any errands they may need that are important. And you understand that that's like pretty much what the direct assistants are. They're like the gopher boys for the magistrates. But it is a pretty highly regarded position. Like, yeah. So, were you gonna say something?
I have a question for you.
Delvain.
Who was the 7th person that was supposed to be here?
I don't actually know. I didn't know really who I was picking up. I was just told there'd be 7 people and there were 6, and instead of waiting, I decided we should just go.
But we could have been random people on the side of the road and just said, yeah, we're part of the group, and you would let us sign the contract.
Do I hear that?
If you're in the group, yeah. If you're in there, yeah.
What? You dare question the Tri-Star's wisdom?
Are you,
Explain your shaking right.
Me and Gary have been pounding coffee this whole time.
And you're just shaking now with nerves.
Yeah.
are you good there, buddies?
He's not good.
Why are you good?
Ralnor, I just think we should trust Dalaran.
Say that
Dalaran.
again.
He speaks for the magistrate.
Does the magistrate make it a common practice to have people sign contracts of secrecy?
Yes.
When it calls for it.
Actually,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
What does she have to keep secret from her people? What is she protecting them from?
I mean, it is
Take care of
not uncommon for kings and queens to keep secrets of, if it pertains to the words, I can't think of the words right now.
State security.
State security. That's what he says. That is what he says.
I mean, that's
Basically,
that-
secrets pertaining to state security.
a fair answer.
It seems to me that the magistrate doesn't trust her own people.
Their own people is in the people of Straya, or their own people is in the people that work for the magistrate?
Both, actually. Think about it.
Dalaran, if I may. Ralnor. The vast majority of Straya have lived in peace for so long. The ability to carry such a weight of truth merely would crush their souls, for the rot consumes all. Darkness has no end out there. Telling the truth would be more of a sin than anything amongst these people, I'm afraid. Hope is a not lost commodity, but it's close. We can't send everyone to die for nothing.
Who's going out to die?
We are.
That was well
Have you seen
said.
Captain Kirk?
Jim, you mean?
Jim Kirk? You sound like a friend of mine.
No, Delvain wants to back up Dalaran a little bit, because he just immediately, as soon as you start asking questions, Delvain's like, whoa. This guy's in charge. And then you're in charge too.
Yeah. I am.
Yeah, and you get it that I don't hang with society, so I could care less about society's rules.
Rebel.
Dalaran doesn't seem like he is at all like perturbed that you were asking him questions.
Offended?
Like, yeah, he's not like fuck or anything like that. He's just like he answers your questions as far as you can tell, like as close to the truth as he like possibly can. You know. If you don't ask him any more questions, he's going to continue doing his like prayer and worship, and then at that point he gets into his bag and then like kind of rolls over and starts to go to sleep. If the rest of you, if you want to go to sleep as well, or if you spend some time talking or what have you.
What kind of evil?
Evil that defines our sovereign.
I'm going to bed. My character is tired and confused.
Okay.
Specific-
Long day of walking.
He's met more people than he's like in one day than he's met the whole year.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Unless anybody wants to talk about something specific, you guys will take another long rest and we'll go to the next day. Right? Good. Okay.
Oh, it's not working.
Okay. So the second day, you guys wake up in the morning feeling pretty well refreshed from your travels from the next day. He does the same spell. I need to get rid of these push-up notifications for Facebook. There you go. Just turn that off. Sorry. He does the same spell that he did before you guys traveled the first day. And before you guys take off. And as you guys are about to leave, you can kind of just see that dome that you guys slept under. It's been roughly about 8 hours. Like, it just starts to, like, wither down and collapse in on itself. It doesn't look like the vegetation that was brought from the spell is, like, disappearing magically. It looks like it's becoming, like, part of the vegetation of the ground now. The second day's journey is much the same, taking you deeper into the woods, and it's starting to get a little bit more rocky and mountainous in terms of terrain. But finally, after probably about half the day, Delvain kind of leads you guys into this little clearing, and he stops and he says, we're actually here now. Give me a moment. And he walks over and picks up a stick and, like, checks to make sure it's like a kind of like a hardier stick, sticks it in the ground, and he pulls out a pack and opens it, and from this pack he produces a dream catcher. And he hangs it on the stick sticking out of the ground. He takes his staff and waves it and speaks incantations before throwing light from his staff down this, like, aisle of trees. And the whole thing lights up, and kind of wind just rustles the trees and the leaves around. And dust kind of just being kicked up from this wind. The light starts to fade, and all of a sudden these trees start to bend inwards, kind of creating this hallway of trees. And down at the end, probably 20 feet down this little aisle of trees bending in, you kind of see this little warping image that just starts, like, it just starts to warp, and space begins to bend, and you don't see anything past that. It just looks like this warping space. And Delvain turns and looks back at you all and says, follow me. And he walks down this aisle of trees, and then he eventually just walks through this warp in space, and he just disappears into it. Almost, and this warping, it kind of like ripples as he does, like he just walked through water made of air almost. You guys follow him?
Yeah. Neato.
Okay, you guys follow him into there. And that's that.
Nice.
That's the end of the game. Next episode.
Boss fight. Cue boss music.
Dragons
Dun,
in your
dun,
face.
dun, 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 dun.
There we go.
You actually enter into this beautiful garden courtyard of salmon stone, like this white brick road. And at the end of this courtyard is this like salmon stone brick mansion that stands there. It's very sunny, it's very warm on your face, but it's not like uncomfortably hot with the sun bearing down on you. It feels very comfortable and very nice here.
Can I can probably guess that was a teleport door or something that teleports to a completely different area of
Straya.
of the Straya. Yeah.
I'll let you roll a Arcana check if you like.
14 plus 8 is 22.
22. You're unsure of what the spell actually is, even though you're quite proficient in like Arcana and spells and stuff. You were unsure what the spell actually was, but you don't think it was a teleportation spell. You're pretty sure you kind of walked through like almost like a barrier type of thing, like some kind of field that hid all of this from you or something, some kind of gate or something like that.
So whatever this is actually in the forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is where you're standing. There's fine worked stone tile pathway that leads up to this manor. Well kept shrubbery and flowers in this like detailed floral garden, just all arranged very nicely. There is a white brick fountain with these large geometric white stones kind of just coming out of the ground in odd directions, with this little stream of water dripping from the tips of each of them. And just water kind of flowing down the stones in general. You can see 2 or 3 people that are kind of out here working these gardens. So you can tell that there are people who at least work here. And as your eyes lead up to the manor, there is this carved stairway with wrought iron railings that kind of lead up to this front door that's a dark arched double door, like oak door, very ornate. And Delaron starts to make his way through this garden area and leads you guys up to the manor. As you guys walk up to the door, he starts taking steps up the stairway up to this door, and you don't see him motion at all or anything. The doors just start to open on their own, very quietly. In fact, there's no sound as they open, and you enter into this large and ornately decorated, like arched hallway. And there are, as you guys enter in, there's a lot of artwork that's just hung up through this hallway. Paintings of all sorts, painting of heroes, paintings of some are just abstract, some is paintings of landscapes, just all sorts of different paintings that you can see. And he starts to lead you down this hallway, and at a certain point he stops and turns and motions for you to enter in through a doorway on the side of the hallway. And as you guys enter in, you enter into what looks to be kind of like a study with a small like library around it. the first thing you see is this large dark wood desk and chair that sits between these two stained glass windows. And these two stained glass windows are depicting what some of you might understand to be the old descriptions of, like, what did I write down? The old descriptions of what was thought to be the cosmic scape at one point. The perimeter of this room is taken up with these 2-story high bookshelves, and there is a rolling ladder that rolls along each one of them. And on the other side, so there's the desk with the 2 stained glass windows, and then there's one side is just books, and then the other side is a tower of bookshelves, and then there's this really ornate fireplace with black stone brick around it. And standing at that fireplace, you see another person, kind of tan skin, and he's holding a cup with this amber liquid in it. And he's just kind of sitting at the lit fireplace, staring into the fireplace. Even though the fireplace is lit, there's not really a smell of, like, burning wood coming from it, even though it clearly looks like there's burning wood inside of it. Delaron motions all of you to go in, and all of you do, unless you say you don't for any reason. Okay, you guys all make your way in. And as you do, Delaron kind of, you can see Delaron walks in behind the last person, and you can see that he looks over at this other person standing here, and the person looks at Delaron, and they both kind of just, like, nod at each other, and then Delaron turns around and walks out of the room. And this person holding this glass of amber, what you would guess is, like, kind of like an amber ale or something like that, some kind of alcohol. You can see it as he moves it. There's little drips of clear alcohol that kind of streak down the side of the glass. He puts it down and he says, "Good evening. My name is Liang." And he says, "You may know me as the direct assistant of Vexius." And some of you who guessed who Delaron was, I'm going to say you probably understand who Liang is. He is, like he said, the direct assistant of Vexius, one of the Magistrate of Quara. Yeah. Just making sure I had my information right. There's a lot of names in this one, so. Liang has short combed hair and, like, soft tan skin. He's wearing these gray clothes with black leather spalders. And his clothes have this accent of silver, or not his clothes. He's wearing accents of silver jewelry with, like, black gems in them. Not too ornate. It's any jewelry he's wearing is still pretty mild and kind of discreet. It's not, like, overly bearing massive jewelry or anything by that means, but he says, "Please make yourself comfortable. If there's anything I can get you, drink perhaps, I can do that for you." and he picks up his drink and just kind of stays there, and watches you guys. And he stays relatively quiet. He doesn't say almost anything unless anyone wants to try to talk to him in any kind of way.
Are you gonna tell us?
Yes. Delvain has gone to get some of the magistrates to talk to him.
Okay.
Wonderful. When might we be expecting them?
Oh, it'll only be a few minutes.
Is there a mirror in here?
I'm sorry?
Is there a mirror in here?
Is there a mirror in here? There is no mirror.
I just do minor illusion and create a mirror.
I brush my hair.
So, the minor illusion, it's kind of, as he creates a minor illusion of, like, a mirror, so to speak, it looks like it would be a mirror, but it's, as you, like, comb your hair, it has a slight delay after you move, and, when you cast that spell, you have to make it do things. So every time he moves, you like make it react what he's doing, so to speak.
I don't get that, so I'm just like,
I'm just kind of murmuring to do that.
gosh, just kind of go away.
So it kind of just has to react to whatever he's doing, and it's slightly offsetting.
Stand there.
And then all of a sudden your nose starts to get big.
So, about 5 to 10 minutes of this goes by before you see Delvain walk into the room, and he kind of turns to the side and bows and holds his hand out as he doesn't really say anything, so to speak, but he just has that motion. And you see these two old, I don't want to say men necessarily.
Old dudes.
These two old dudes walk in, basically.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, old gentlemen, thank you.
She's so polite.
Well, I don't want to say old men because that means that they're
You're right.
human, right? And they're. But anyways, one of them. Sorry, this is a lot of talking to get to where we need to be.
Yeah, this is the storytelling, man. This is how we learn what the hell's going on.
One of them you guys recognize as Agarim, Magistrate of Acela. He's a tall old man, human. He's got this bald head and a long white beard, very like classic wizard looking. And he's kind of got these like skin blotches on his head from just being old, and his skin's getting old and stuff. He's wearing a white and light blue robe with like black accents. And the next person is Vexius, who is the Magistrate of Quara. He is this... he's a short, old halfling. He's got a full head of hair, but it's like prickly and wiry, and his eyebrows are like wiry and overgrown. He's wearing a purple and maroon robe, and he's carrying a white carved staff with a large pearl-colored jewel at the top. That's probably about 2 or 3 feet taller than he is. And Vexius kind of has this like permanent scowl in his face as he just like walks in looking at you guys. And they walk in and they kind of look you over, and Agarim is, like I said, looks you. Are you Smoking your pipe? Okay. Agarim looks you over and looks over at Delaron and he says, only 6. And Delaron repeats him, yes, one person didn't show up, so I just, instead of waiting, I thought to just come anyways without them. And Agarim is like, no, that is good, you did good. Please produce the contracts for us. And he says this to Delaron. They haven't, Delaron pulls out this scroll case, produces the contract, and Agarim and Vexius start to look over these contracts. They haven't said anything to you guys yet, or acknowledged you in the room, other than just looking over, basically to get a count of you guys. And it's about 5 or so minutes of them looking over the contracts before they roll it up, and Agarim kind of looks down at Vexius, and Vexius kind of scowls back up and he's like, And Agarim's like, these all look to be in order. And they roll them back up, put them back in the scroll case. He hands the scroll case back over to Delaron, and Delaron takes it and bows and makes his way out of the room. Bows to the 2 magistrates, specifically. Agarim looks over at Ralnor, and he says, what herb are you smoking there?
Buckweed.
Huh. That is a nice wild one. I do like that.
Very big.
I think I will also partake of it. And he pulls out his own pipe, and it's got this like really elongated curve to it, and kind of a thick brown, thick wood, whatever it is you put the bowl. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sus.
I know shit. And he lights it up and kind of starts to puff on it for a second. And he says, well, I suppose all of you are wondering why we've called you all here.
Yes.
Finally. I
And-
told you, we need
I
to.
am wondering why you all show signs of mistrust beyond yourselves. How long has Delron been working for you?
Delaron's been working for us for quite a few years now. But
You know he signed the contracts, but yet you still look them over. As you don't
Delaron
trust
didn't
him.
sign the contracts.
You know that he had us sign the contracts.
Yes, but we just wanted to look them over for our own sake.
But Delvain's looking at you like,
You see Agarim just like kind of gets this like, he like lifts an eyebrow and like a little bit of like confusion, and just like turns and looks down at Vexius, and Vexius just like scowls up at him, and he's like kind of just like shakes his head and like, unbelievable. Kind of, you can kind of hear Vexius just like kind of just kind of makes this sigh as like almost like in annoyance, so to speak. But Agarim like looks up, kind of a calmer demeanor on his face, and he says, your questions will be answered now.
Appreciate that.
You currently stand. Let me just pull up a note super quick. You currently stand in the house and home of Acela, our god Acela. This is where she lives. Now, Acela has become ill with a curse of, don't want to say unknown origin, but we don't know how it happened.
How
This
does
is
a
what we
god
need your help.
become ill?
Oh, Well, as you know from our history, the war started with the gods fighting each other up in the heavens. And at a certain point, the sundering happened. And they gave up part of their divinity to come down and start the war here on our land, essentially. I mean, giving up part of your divinity makes it so you are susceptible to more things, I suppose. Like I said, this has never happened before. Any of our gods have never become sick. And we don't know really how this is possible. That is a running hypothesis, so to speak, that we have. But
None of us are herbalists, are
no, we didn't
See,
call
what the
you
fuck
here
is that?
for your help in gaining medicine. We believe, in fact, we have heard this from Aruna, the magistrate of Euna. Euna, yes, it is quite vexing, those two names we know. Euna spoke to Aruna, and Aruna has given us this information that she believes this is the work of someone named Kobul. He was a very powerful mage from the time of the Cataclysmic War.
Do I know this name?
Kobul? Roll a history check. With disadvantage, please.
Son of I just rolled a net 20.
Sorry, bud.
Wait.
Net 20!
Really?
And that's the first.
That is
Inspiration.
that is the first one.
How the hell?
That's right.
How the hell?
Now, who are you going to give inspiration to?
I'm not, when it comes to something
Everything's
like
an A with
recalling
tomatoes.
information, I'm not really going to make you like describe how you do that.
Well, I'll just say that my vast knowledge of this person inspires.
You have really
Somebody.
good knowledge. I'll say this.
You.
Oh.
Because you know these people.
I'm sitting here looking at it like, you treasonous. You got a point.
So just keep in mind
Oh my
who has given inspiration per game and who has received inspiration per game just on your own. And we'll use the honor system. You are very well aware of, well, maybe not very aware, but you may have the most information about what was outside of Straya before the walls went up, because you have
My father and my grandfather.
you have descendants that were alive before the walls went up. So you have the most information about what used to be out there. Most of it pertains specifically to your homeland. But you are actually kind of shocked that you're not familiar with the name Kobe. And it's kind of, you're kind of perturbed. I mean, perhaps your character may be kind of perturbed by the fact that you don't know anything about who this
So
person
my inspiration
Is
did
that
nothing for you.
someone like I could have read about in my studies?
I'm gonna say no, just because he rolled a nat 20 and
Yeah.
still didn't get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say also no.
Okay.
It's not really a name that you are at all familiar with, which is probably also shocking to you as well. You guys are unfamiliar with the name of Kobul. And he Agarim goes on to say, Kobul was a mage, very powerful mage that was a part of the Cataclysmic War. Let me just pull up my notes about what he says about. And we believe that somehow he is still alive out in the rot outside of Straya, and somehow managed to get a curse across to here. And no
Based
less.
on what facts?
This was information, like I said, given to us by Euna through her god. Sorry, Aruna and her god Euna.
Oh man.
It is tough, I'm sorry. I mean, this is information told to us by one of our great deities.
What race is Kobul?
Kobul? We don't know anything about Kobul. We assume he was human.
How can a human live that long?
We don't know. So,
The vessel of darkness must be vanished.
Well, there's no way outside of the rot
Vanished.
anyways. I've tried for 600 years, have not been successful.
we are aware of your attempts to get outside of the wall.
Did you
In
say
fact,
600
that is
years
why
old?
we asked you here. I mean, a lot of you, we are very aware.
This explains so much.
A lot of you, we are very aware of your doings out in the world. You've become very accomplished. This is why we've asked you all here. One of the biggest kept secrets, and he pauses for a moment on secrets and looks back at Vexius, and Vexius just kind of grunts and kind of gives him a little nod of reassurance. And he looks back at you. One of the biggest kept secrets are there are 3 gates into the rot through the barrier here. This is information that no one other than the magistrates and our direct assistants are aware of. So, your mission is twofold, really. First of all, the gates are locked, and there are 3 keystones that must be obtained to unlock one of these gates. So, your first mission is to get the 3 keystones.
In my years, have I maybe come across one of these gates and just not known it? As he starts talking about it, does it bring up any?
Roll an insight check for me.
7.
Nah. You were unawares to any of this or anything of the nature.
The more
Has
frustrated I
anyone
get as he
ventured
goes
through
on.
these gates before?
Say that again.
Has anyone ventured through these gates before?
Are you asking?
Yes.
Is Gary asking that?
Gary
to
is
Agra?
asking, yes.
No. This is the first time we have ever had to use these gates. And this is the first time we've ever spoken of it to anyone outside of the Magistrate, basically. So your mission is twofold. You will be taken to a place where you can get these keystones. And then we will let you pass through one of the gates, and you will make your way to find Kobul, and you will kill Kobul.
Oh god.
And we'd also like you to try and figure out how he managed to put a curse through these barriers. Up until now, we thought it was impossible to get any kind of magic effect through these barriers.
And how
We
are
are-
we supposed to find Kabul?
That'll be our job to find out.
Do you know how to travel?
We have
You've never
a-
done it before.
You say that to Zeid? What did you say to Zeid?
Do you know how to track people you've never met before?
I've had to find people actually in the mountains. The village hires me sometimes to find certain individuals that I've never seen before, but that's what they pay us for. But it's not easy. Sometimes I don't find them. You know?
At this point in time, Vexia goes, if you'll let us speak.
Oh, he speaks.
Oh my god.
You can tell he's just annoyed with you.
Finally, someone with some sense of mind.
Sorry, sir. My bad.
And he goes over to, and he, kind of slaps Agarim on the leg and he's like, continue, Agarim.
King.
And Agarim just kind of nods at him and he says, we actually have a relic from before the times the barriers went up. It is a map of the land before the cataclysmic war that we keep here, and we believe we know where you might be able to find him. And he motions over to Liang, and Liang kind of just nods and makes his way out of the room. And you can see Agarim just redoing his pipe kind of thing and puffing on it a little bit longer. It's not more than a minute though that passes before Liang comes back in with this word keeps escaping me. A scroll case. And he opens the scroll case and draws out this big leathery scroll, and he unravels it, and you can tell just by the complexion of this leathery material that this is an incredibly old artifact. And as he unrolls it, you see spread out before you a map that is completely unknown to all of you. It is a map before the barriers went up and before the cataclysmic war. And Vexius, so they take this scroll out and they lay it across this big wooden desk. And Vexius walks up and kind of uses his magic staff and does this incantation that actually at least you recognize, some of you probably recognize it too, as a minor illusion spell. And on this map is this little minor illusion of a red border shows up, and you can clearly see the red border is Straya, and it is dwarfed by this larger continent that is surrounding it. A massive, you already know Straya to be a large area of land, and this larger continent around it is just huge. And Agarim goes up and points at the map, a little bit of a ways outside of where Straya, the border for Straya is, just south of the border of Straya. And you can kind of see Agarim kind of murmur something to alter the spell, and a little X appears where Agarim had pointed on the map. And he says, that is where kobolds keep used to be. At least before the war and before the rot and all of this.
How far away is the X from the barrier?
It looks to be about... It's actually not very far away. It looks to be like it might be somewhere in the vicinity of 2 to 3 days outside of the barrier. And Agorim says, if you're going to start somewhere, this would be the best place to start. So,
While the map's up, can I, based on stories that my grandfather has told me and my father has told me, can I pinpoint where my capital city is from where I'm from?
yeah, roll me
Or where my family's from, I should say.
roll me an investigation check with advantage.
You fuck.
What?
Net
No.
20?
2 nat 20s?
Oh,
Oh,
I
at
rolled
least
it.
one nat 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So you... Yeah. What did I tell you? A freaking machine of nat 20s over here.
This is just good dice, that's all I'm saying.
Give me those dice. Give me those dice.
Never let me touch those ever.
Yeah.
You probably look like when he produces this, you almost immediately understand what it is. And after he points out the location, you probably take that into, like, you look at it, but I assume you're probably just too busy scouring this map. Because would you say you've probably tried to look for a map in the past?
Well, I mean, if anybody was going to have a map, it would be anybody from my village or my race, so to speak.
No one, I don't think any of your family had a map of the outside, but but all of you are aware that maps like this don't exist, like in circulation. You've never seen a map like this before. The only maps that you have ever seen have been just of Straya. And outside of the borders of Straya, it's just... There's nothing illustrated outside of the borders of Straya. And so, back to your original question, as you scour this area, you do end up finding where your homeland is supposed to be. And forgive me, I can't remember the name of what your homeland
Alphadore.
is. What?
Alphadore?
Alphadore. You do find Alphadore, and it is quite a long travel north of Straya.
Okay.
You're not exactly sure how much. Roll me an intelligence check, though.
That's not bad either. Just my intelligence modifier?
Just intelligence, yeah.
That's a 20.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you eventually find Alphadore, and I'm gonna say you take a minute to, like, burn that into your head, like your mind, where that actually is, right? So I'm gonna say you do a really good job of remembering that part of the map, in case it comes up later for you. But also looking at the map, Agarim also points to a section of the, almost directly north of where that keep was, they said, points to a section of the barrier, and he says, surprisingly to our luck, this is where one of the gates are. And a little X appears right there due to the illusion magic. And he says, it's a pretty good mote of luck that the gate is almost directly north of where you need to go. So I don't think it will be too hard for you to find Kobul's keep in his last bastion during the war.
I don't have experience with the actual rod itself.
No one does.
Is it contagious? Can it hurt us?
You see Agarim's eyebrows just kind of like squint together, and like all of the lines, the wrinkles on his face deepen as you see him start to recall information. You can kind of just see that he's like digging into his memory to like recall information, and you can kind of see this like dark shadow that like comes over him, and he says, "The only thing we know about the rot is what has been told to us since the war. It spreads like a blight on the land. It infected people. It withered away all life on the land. We are not sure what is outside those walls now. We're not sure if the rot's even still there. We are not sure what it does, if it has evolved into any different kind of disease or what.
Surely your god would know what's outside the walls.
They might be busy.
We're sorry. Your call is very important to us.
Sorry. Continue. My bad. You didn't hear it.
How often do you speak with your god?
When it is necessary.
Is it a Cilia?
Acela.
A Cilia.
You can tell I don't really know the god.
Delvain's just on like
And you probably get the fact that they're aware of your background, since they knew who you were to ask you for this, to ask you for this mission. And he says, so, unless there's any other questions, we will have Liang take you to gather the stones.
Would it be too hard to ask if you could reach out to your god and ask them questions about the rot? That way we are equipped with as much knowledge as we possibly before we just venture out into the rot.
I agree.
We will do what we can to ask the gods while you are away getting the keystones.
Which are inside.
Yes.
Okay.
They are kept safe inside
I guess it
a...
makes sense. Gotta get out of it.
The keystones are kept safe inside a shrine here in
I got
Australia.
weed in here, not just buckwheat.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yes.
Right this way, Graham.
Do you know who the seventh person was supposed to be? Like, what particular skills they had that we are now lacking?
Brains.
They...
Good question.
They did not show up, so it is... They are now no longer important, but they were a druid of sorts.
A druid.
A person of the
But,
land.
Seeing as
No
they
problem.
are not here, we're not going to speak of them. We don't see it pertinent to give you the information of who they were.
Can I read mine?
They were not obligated to be here in any
that's a
sense
good
of the word, as you were all not obligated to be here, but if you did not show up, we would have picked other people to go on this mission. So, anyways, we will try to reach out and see what information we can find. But the gods do not wait on our answers. We may ask, and if they see fit to answer us, then they do. But anyways, if there's anything else, we will let you get to it, and we will see what we can do about it.
I just kind of laughed to myself out loud.
Um,
I'm thinking
They
to
don't
myself
make-
out loud.
they don't make any, they don't gesture towards that at all or anything like that. But Agarim and Vexius kind of motion towards all of you and make their way out, and as they leave, Liang kind of walks up and is like, well, if there's nothing else for it, we can make our way.
How far away is...
I will be teleporting you there directly.
Oh, okay.
So there is no travel time.
That makes sense a
Very
lot
good.
easier.
Alright, okay.
Very good.
Just right in the thick of it, I see.
Mm.
Alright.
Indeed.
Deep and dirty.
He kind of chuckles at that. He says, indeed, and he holds up his amber glass and just kind of shoots the rest of it, his amber ale like glass, and just kind of shoots the rest of it and says, follow me. And he walks his way out the same way you guys walked in. Once again, the doors open by themselves, and he walks you guys out to the very same, like, little courtyard space that you guys stepped into. And as you do, he says, talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I have to do the ritual for the teleport spell. And he pulls out a little book out of his hand and starts kind of muttering incantations. And it's about... ritual is 10 minutes, right? Yeah, it's about 10 minutes before you start to notice the ground just start to light up around you with these glowing runes as it slowly makes its way all around. It takes about 10 minutes for the glow to like make it a full circle. Anyone talk amongst yourselves about anything for...
So, Ralnor, seems like you're not a big fan of the gods, huh?
The gods abandoned us.
Oh,
What should I care about the gods?
Well, these ones stayed.
And they're going to abandon us eventually too. Don't you find it interesting?
After hearing that,
Oh shit.
I'm gonna just kind of walk away from the circle, drop to one knee, pull out my flail, put it on the ground, take a deep breath. Ayun, give me strength. And then I say a prayer silently to myself.
silently? How do you silently say that prayer?
A totally different prayer.
Oh my god.
That one I don't say silently for sure. Ayun.
Okay.
But I take some of the there's like dirt here, right?
Yes, there's like...
Stones and dirts and stuff.
Yeah, it's this whole like decorated, really well, nicely detailed garden that's around you.
I like whisper like to this one of the stones before I put it back. And I take some dirt with me.
Okay.
Kind of like ritualistically put it on my stuff.
Mhm.
You know, Ayun, and then rejoin the group at peace.
As you kind of do this ritual, you see a few flowers, a few. Okay. You notice like this very discreet little gesture that happens, where a little green twig kind of pops up out of the dirt, right underneath where you like placed this stone, and it almost immediately like blooms into like this white lily type of flower. And you're immediately filled with this feeling of like divine approval, and you immediately feel like Ayuna is watching over you and has like recognized you almost.
So that stupid smug face when I come back to the group. Peace.
You good? You good?
I was just
Anyone
thinking,
provides.
I was thinking it was interesting though that Asilla would reach out to them for help for her illness, but if we reach out for her for help, we don't get guaranteed an answer back.
It's because you hate them.
Well, I mean, even their own magistrates said that they don't always get answered.
The gods provide in mysterious ways.
I mean, aren't they technically just really smart people now?
Yeah, they lost some of their divinity.
They're no longer omnipotent beings.
Okay, go say another prayer real quick.
But also, why did they not just get the keystones? Why do we have to go get them?
Because we're just really capable people now.
You know, when you're a leader,
To
all you
expect?
gotta do is you gotta like, what's the word?
Avenge your gods.
That, but also you gotta delegate. So why would you do it if you're the CEO of a company?
What's a CEO?
Well, I mean, it seems simple enough for them to
I made up. That's a word I made up in the
just take
mountains.
us to the gate.
When you're the leader of a company, when you can just have your lackey boys.
So that's what you see us as lackeys.
No, I mean we're very capable lackeys. Like don't get me wrong.
We are hired help.
Yeah, we're
No,
very capable hired help.
Yeah.
I just pull out my
And it sounds good.
murmured in myself.
Sounds like it could be dangerous. You know what I mean?
As Ralnor just starts to old man murmur to himself.
I mean, the gods do have to listen to a lot of people.
That is very
They're
true.
probably just blips on their radar.
As that happens, the glowing runes finally connect and finish the circle. And in the center of this, what some of you would probably recognize as a teleport circle, you see this little rip in space and time, like crackling energy just, and it starts to literally rip space and time open into this, and all you can see behind this, like glowing borders of ripping energy is just like a darkness in there. And you
I would
see-
understand how the teleport spell works, right?
Yeah, you're fairly. I'm trying to remember your class.
What wizard?
You're a wizard. Okay. Blade Singer is a subclass of wizard. Yeah, you're aware of the teleport spell and how the teleport spell works.
So yeah, I'm just like, we must make haste. I
Yeah.
start walking towards it.
And almost immediately he like motions toward it, and he actually goes through. No, actually, yeah, he waits for the rest of you guys to go through first, and then he also makes his way through, and the teleport spell closes behind all of you guys, and that's actually where we're gonna end tonight's episode, on the first half of this of the filming tonight.
Hey, boss, what the fuck? Tell this guy to knock it off.
So anyways, if you're watching on
Go ahead.
Nah.
if you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, this is where the episode is going to end. Thank you so much for watching, and we really appreciate it. And we hope to see you back at the next episode.
I want to do it so bad.
Delegation the podcast.
Let's do it. I mean, let's do it for old time's sake.
Yeah!
Stories of the Salt Knight.